Hi, I'm Bobby. I'm the naturalist here at Onondaga Cave State Park, and I want to tell you a little bit about how caves are formed. So first we're going to go in the classroom. We'll talk about the science of cave formation and some basic information, and then we're going to go in the cave and we're going to see those passages and how the cave forms for ourselves from the inside. So here's an idealized cross-section of a typical place in Missouri. So you have your ground here, there's a tree, there's a cloud, raining on a little dude having a bad day. So when we talk about passage development and cave formation, it's very important to follow the water. So we can follow the water from the sky to the atmosphere where it's picking up carbon dioxide, and it makes that water really weakly acidic. It's got a pH of about 5.5 or so. But then it finds its way to the bedrock. The bedrock's going to be either limestone or dolomite. That's our primary cave-forming rock in Missouri. And these two rocks they're alkaline. They're calcium carbonates. So when you have acidic rainwater reacting with an alkali base, you get that acid-base reaction, and it'll start dissolving these holes. Well, we can follow this water through the cracks in the rock, through bedding planes or joints or fractures, and it's going to find its way all the way down to the water table. Now, everywhere below the water table, the rock is completely saturated. So don't think of the water table like a lake full of water. Think of it like a sponge full of water. So any caves, any void spaces down here, they're called phreatic caves because they're completely full of water. This is the phreatic zone, the saturated zone of the rock. Now above the phreatic zone, you have the vadose zone, which is air-filled. So any cave that is air-filled, has air in it, we can go through, and that is called a vadose cave. Now, vadose passages and phreatic passages are very different in their morphologies and in their shapes and in their development. So we're going to go in the cave, and we're going to see examples of each of those. We'll talk a little bit about how they're formed.
Oh, it's a boy. Oh, hi there. So here we are. We're in one of my favorite parts of Onondaga Cave, the phreatic tubes. So this is part of the phreatic zone. What I want you to notice is how everything's kind of domed and pitted, and there's not a whole lot of sharp, jagged surfaces because this wasn't cut out by a moving cave stream. This was dissolved in every direction when it sat underwater. So I just came out of a little hole there, and we're going to go through a little hole down this way, and a few more little holes through these branching tubes, and we're going to show you the vadose zone next.
Now we just came from the phreatic zone, which is way up there, above the ceiling that I'm standing under right now. So the phreatic zones are usually going to be in the topmost parts of the cave. And keep in mind that the phreatic zones were usually some of the first parts of the cave to be formed, which means our caves form from the top down. That means that the oldest part of your cave is going to be up your ceiling, and the youngest part of the cave is actually going to be the cave stream down there. Now the cave stream is still carving out its canyon, and it's carving out with vadose enlargement. That means air-filled. And the stream is mechanically abrading its canyon, mechanically abrading the passage, as opposed to chemical dissolution in the phreatic zone. So if you look at the walls down low, you'll see them more cut and scraggly looking. And if you look at the walls up high, they're more pitted and domed. So that is a really distinct difference between the vadose below and the phreatic above. Now, beside me is a whole bunch of gravel, and this is stream gravel. In fact, if I go to the cave stream today, which is about 80 feet below me, I'll find the same stuff. This is just chert gravel, and it's been deposited nicely as a little stream bed that's now part of the wall. So I am standing in an old stream bed, and the stream used to go up this way. And if you look above me, you'll see an old flowstone shelf. And that flowstone shelf, there's nothing underneath it, but there used to be a floor there. So this indicates where a floor used to be, and the stream would come down over the top of that flowstone, and then it would keep going along a floor that no longer exists. So this is some old indicators of passage development. Now when it comes to cave development, breakdown is a very important element of that. It's good for opening up rooms, as these big blocks, these boulders that you see in the cave stream, have fallen off the walls or they've fallen off the ceiling. Now, if they continue to fall off the ceiling and that ceiling collapses and migrates further towards the surface, what will happen is all the rock between us and the surface, it gets thin and gets thin and gets thin until the surface can no longer support itself, and then it collapses in as a sinkhole. So that can be the death of the cave, or it'll form an entrance to the cave, and that means we can find it. So I hope you enjoy learning a little bit about cave formation, and we're going to end this video the same way many caves meet their demise. It's a sinkhole. So I'm sitting here next to a sinkhole, which is a passage collapse in Onondaga Cave, and so we're going to end fittingly where the water's subterranean journey begins.